Okay, let's get straight into it. Hi, everybody. My name's Janelle. I am the Onboarding and Customer Success Associate with Arthur. Welcome, everybody, to your tenancy onboarding journey. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So this is basically the agenda of what we're going to go through today. It's quite simple. A lot of you have probably done this already. Or if you're new to Arthur, then this will be a great handy help for yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with adding applicants, adding a viewing, creating a prospective tenancy, referencing and screening, sending out for digital signature and mail merges. And then if you have any questions, at the end of the webinar, I will go through the questions. You can pop them in the chat box. If you pop your email next to it, if there's a question that I can't answer straight away, at the end, then I can go and investigate for you or get the answer for you and then email you the response. Also, at the end of the webinar, there will be a survey that goes out. So if you could kindly fill that out for us, just to know your feedback on the webinar. Okay, let's get straight into it. So the first part we're going to start with is basically this flowchart of how the tenancy onboarding works. So first of all, we start with the applicant. As you all know, we have to add the applicant. Then it will go to a viewing once they've viewed the property. Then if they're happy and they want to go forward with the property, then we will start them off with a prospective tenancy. Now, a prospective tenancy is just a substitute just to kind of get the correct reference in, the correct details for the applicant so that they can get to the approved tenancy status. Once we've done the prospective tenancy, then we'll go to the references part, how we have companies that you can do your referencing through, a third-party company through Arthur, and then we will talk about automated messages that you can send out prior to the tenant being approved, and then we will talk about getting them to the approved tenancy status. So let's just start off with going on to the account. So please bear with me. So as you can see here, this is my dashboard. This is what your Arthur page will look like when you log in. There are some key features for the tenancy onboarding journey that you will look at your dashboard. So a key aspect would be new applicants. If you are integrated with portals such as Rightmove or Zoopla, and you have these integrations, when a new inquiry comes through, it will go through to the new applicants section just here. Also new inquiries as well. When you start doing your referencing for your applicants or possible tenants, then you can look at these two fields here, and you have awaiting signatures and awaiting references. This is just to help you keep an overview of what's basically going on your account, basically. And then we also have this tenancy section here, so we can see how many prospective tenants we have, how many approved, how many ending, how many expiring, moving out, and moving in. Now, these are your key aspects that I would say that you would need for the tenancy onboarding journey, just so that you can get an overview of basically what's going on in your account. Another key feature that we have is the calendar of the overview for the day. This is down here. So if you scroll right down to the bottom of the page, you can see everything that you've got going on for the day down here. And you can also click into the view form calendar just by clicking into here. And then you can see everything that's going on for your month or for your week. And if you click into it, then you can see all the details of the event that you have. So if we go back to this page, then Now we're going to start with adding an applicant. Now, adding an applicant, there are a few ways of doing this. So you can get an applicant through your portals, as I said before, with Zoopla and Rightmove, and they will automatically filter through onto Arthur, and you can just search them up and then kind of add the viewing that way. The other way is adding them manually. Now, adding them manually means that you'll have 3 key parts of information. So the way you can do this is either go to quick add just here, and you can add applicant just by clicking this, and you can fill out the form. The 3 key parts of information we need is their first name and last name and their email address. You can add their phone number as well, but it's not a mandatory field, but their email address will link them to their account. So the email address is very important to add in when you're adding an applicant. Or the other way that you can add an applicant is literally by going to clients to the drop down menu and going to applicants just here, and then adding an applicant that way. So those are the 3 ways that you can add an applicant. Now let's fill out this briefly. Let's quickly add some information in. So I'm just going to add my own information in. Okay, so we've got Miss Lena T, and then the contact detail, we'll use an email. So I'm going to use this test email that I have here. And then once you put in this key information, you can just add the applicant. And once the applicant is added, it will take you onto this page, which means once they are on this page, you can literally add a viewing, you can post a message, you can add internal notes, any documents or images. You can also edit their information here as well. So we'll get into more details about how to fill this in shortly. But for now, I'm just going to go through and show you what this page entails. So like I said, you can add documents here as well. Finding units is a key attribute to Arthur that we have. So what you can do is you can put in a criteria, or you could put in a specific property and search it. So I'll give you an example for quickly. So you can add, say, this property. If you search the unit, then you can see that this unit is here. Then you can match it to the actual tenant. And then once you go to match units, you can see all, if there was multiple, you can see all the match units that the applicant could possibly be interested in. And then you can create a viewing straight from here. Now, in most instances, you won't be on this page. So what we would suggest you do is go to the actual unit that you want to set up your, your viewing for. So if we go to properties, and then we go into the units. So this is the unit, and this is where we want to add our viewing for. So you would search up the unit and then literally just go to add viewing. Now you do have this quick add option here where you can just add a viewing as well. And if you click into this way, then it will take you straight onto adding a viewing, and you can just search the property. So say 1 Cromwell House, you press continue, and it will let you fill out the relevant information. So let's carry on with this step and add the viewing for the property. So now we've added the applicant, you can go and click here, which is add an existing applicant. And if you click into add an existing applicant, they should just pop up straight at the top. This is only because this is the first, this is the most recent applicant that you've added onto the system. So this would be the first one that shows up. But if they're not there, you can literally just search them. So if it was somebody else, you could just search the name and they would pop up just there. So in this instant, we're going to use Lena T, and we're going to add the applicant. Now, if they are a new applicant and they've never been added onto Arthur, and they call in and you want to add a viewing straight off the bat, then you can just literally go to add applicant, and it will take you onto the add applicant page. And then when you go back to this page here, the person will be added just as Lena T is added here. So Now we're going to fill out the relevant information for the actual viewing. So here we can add the viewing date. As you can see, it has a little red star. So this is a mandatory field that you'll need to fill out. So let's say our viewing is for today, and the time will be, let's say 3:50, okay? And let's say it's a 30-minute viewing. Now we also have some other options that you can fill out as well. We have the offer, so the possible offer that they've given. This is a mandatory field, as you can see, as it doesn't have the little red star. We have the proposed move-in date as well. So this is quite handy for reporting and filtering, just to keep an eye on what's going on in your account. And then down here, we have who you're assigning to. So this would be the person who's doing the viewing. So you can literally just click in here, add in the relevant person. You can delete them just by clicking this little cross here. You can just add them back by adding them just like that. Now, we have this source section. So this is quite handy to make an overview of the type of, inquiries you're getting through to which sources. So what will be more beneficial for yourself, whether it's Zoopla, whether it's Rightmove, whether it's tenants coming in or applicants coming into the office, or whether it's through API, your website, that type of thing. So this is quite a handy tool. As you can see, it's defaultable, so you can kind of add your own. So for example, if I put Rightmove in here and I save that, every time I create a viewing, these options will be there. Then here you can write in some notes. So this would be any notes regarding the viewings. It can be specified to the actual applicant, or any notes that you, when you had a conversation with them and you wanted to make note, you can just add it in here. Now, just below that, we have some automations. Now, these are a key part and key attribute to Arthur that we like to sing about, really. It takes a lot of time out of our clients' hands, which are yourselves. So these automations can kind of help with not manually sending a reminder for a viewing, or emailing them to chase things up and things like that. So we have quite a few options that are a standard, but we will get more into automations a bit later. But you can make customized ones as well. So for example, the ones that we have here are notify a viewer of appointment. And if I click the little icon just here, and I scroll down, this is basically the message that will populate to the tenant once that box is ticked to remind them that this viewing is happening. Okay, and these little variables that are highlighted are the things that will pull through from Arthur so that you don't have to manually input it in. So this is a very handy tool. You can also edit by just going edit action, and then you can edit the message accordingly. There are some other options as well. We have send a notification, send an SMS, a webhook, add a task, and add a work order as well. We have this option here, which is notify the units of the tenant's viewing. So this is quite a handy tool just to let them know that, this viewing is happening. Then we have, the SMS that was sent out, which will basically be similar to the same of this one. And then we also have the option of notifying the property manager just to let them know that a viewing is happening on the 26th at 3:50 for Lena T. Okay, and then once that's all submitted, you can go to once that's all done, you can go to submitted, and then that viewing is now added onto the system. Okay, and now you can see on the right hand side the relationship that it's to. So this is 1 Cromwell House. It's on the unit level. The property is 1 Cromwell House. There is no current tenants. The unit status is available to let, and the property owner is Janelle Limited. Now, here you can see all of the information of the viewing. And if, for example, this tenant didn't want to go through, applicant didn't want to go through, should I say, then you can add another tenant or create a new tenant and delete them by just going here to the drop down menu and deleting them. But before you delete them, you have to make sure that there's one person in there first. If you scroll down, you can also see the eternal notes as well. So this is for when you want to make notes on the applicant. That is just for, you know, the property managers that you want to keep note of, any specifics regarding the tenant. And then we also have this activity section just down here. And this will basically give you an overview of what's going on with this viewing. So if anyone makes any amendments or any changes, then you can see the activity just below here. On the left hand side, we still have some other options as well. So you can edit the viewing by just going to edit viewing. You can see the applicants that is for this viewing. So if there was another applicant you wanted to add, you could add. Say there was 3 of them and you wanted to add another one, that's very simple to do. And then we have messages, which you can post a message and all the record of the messages will be in here. So, you know, if you wanted to message them, you know, hi, congratulations, you know, we want to go ahead with your offer. So then we can start doing the prospective tenancy process and just adding any messages, and the history will be in here. You do have this filter option up here as well, which can help you. So if you know areas or status or type of message, which is quite a handy tool. Once we've got to this part and, you know, they've said, you know what, we viewed the property, we're happy with it, we want to go ahead. Now it's time to set up the prospective tenancy. Now this is, you can do it from the viewing page, which is quite a handy tool. If you go just up here, you can add the viewing, okay? I mean, add the tenancy, sorry. Once you've added the tenancy, this is basically the page that will pop up. I'm sure a lot of you have already done this. If not, then of course I'll go through now. I can see there are some questions. I will go through them at the end of the webinar. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring. So here we have the tenancy type. So whether it's residential, commercial, short stay or long leaseholder. And then we have some subtypes as well. And then you can also create your own subtype as well. And then down here is basically what will entail for the contract. So you can put the contract type. We have some you know, other options except from ASTs, but for this example, we'll use the AST example. And then we have the tenancy status. Now I'm just going to quickly go through these. I'm sure you will all know what they mean, but yeah, I'm just going to go through them anyway. So the prospective is just basically setting up a tenant or a applicant for a possible confirmed tenancy with this property. And this is just to get the reference in and the application form filled out, just so that you have an overview of what they would want. Then we have the option of approved, which is obviously once they, you know, have passed their reference in and they're ready to go, then you change this to approved. We have current, which is when they're in the property already, so they've already got a current tenancy. Periodic is obviously when there's no end date. Ending is when it's coming to an end, so this would probably be around 30 days before, maybe, depending on how you would want to set it up. Past is obviously in the past, and then rejected, this would be if they didn't pass their referencing after setting them as a prospective tenancy, then you would set them as rejected. Now, once you've filled these two fields out, we then have the lettings agent section. Now, I don't have this information here, but if you have the lettings information or you do the lettings as well, then you will have, you know, multiple colleagues that are here that you can add, and then you can just search them and add them there. Then if we go over to this side, then we have the start date and end date. So this is the crucial information, really. We also have the information for the break clause, rent review dates, rent review interval, and rent review notice period. So depending on how you set up your tenancies will be dependent on how you fill this out. So for this example, I'm just going to say the start date is on Friday, for example, and then let's make this 2024. And then it will be the 27th. Okay, so this is our tenancy that we're creating, and then you just go to the next. Now, this page is not actually creating the actual reoccurring charges. This is just for information purposes only. If you look to the right-hand side, then you can see all the information that we've inputted onto the tenancy details, just in case you needed to go back and have a look to see what you've inputted. So now we're going to enter the rent frequency. So we have quite a few options here, but for this example, let's say it's monthly, for example. And then let's say the amount is £900 per week. And let's say the deposit is £900 as well. Okay, now, if you had 2 tenants or 3 tenants or 4 tenants, you can split the rent between the tenants by just clicking this little button here. But for this example, because we only have 1 tenant, there's no need to split. And then we also have for the deposit field, if it's registered to be registered or not. So you can click this yes or no. Okay. Now, if we go down here, then this will be the bank details of where the rent and the deposit will go to. So, you know, with the bank details, you just click down on this little drop down menu. And then you can see that you have all of once you've inputted them, you can see all of the property owners' bank details, or if they're not there already, you can literally just add them by going to add bank details just here. Some landlords don't want the deposit to go into the same account as the rent. So this would be where you differentiate the two, but for this example, we'll keep them both the same. Billing to, this is just who there will be billed to. And then this will be obviously, of course, the tenants. Hiya, yeah, I will go through the questions at the end of the webinar. So please bear with me. I'm just going to go through everything first, and then I'll go through the questions. And then the defaulted payment method. This is a mandatory field, but you can fill this out, of course. So it can be a bank transfer, cash and standing order. But for this example, we will use bank transfer because that's what a lot of clients use. So this would be the next stage. So this is the tenant details now. So this is the tenant that we've added onto the system, and this will be, as you can see, we have the option as main tenant. If this person, you thought, oh no, it's not this person, and you wanted to edit, then you can just delete this person and add another person, or you can create a complete new tenant just by clicking here and adding them that way. Okay. You can also add in a guarantor if you click this little box down here and just add the guarantor information just below. It's just their first name, last name, mobile, and email. And that is how you would add your guarantor. If you click this little button here, you can, it will show additional information as well. And then if you go to your recharging section, this will be what will be charged to the tenant each time they are, you know, each month when their rent is due. So we have 2 options that we use. So it's either a rent charge or a direct rent. Now, a direct rent is when it goes to the landlord directly, and a rent charge is when it's owned by a property manager, and you know you're charging the rent basically. Okay, so let's say you're a direct landlord, for example, so we'll keep it with direct rent. And then we'll keep the description as rent. The amount is £900. The frequency is monthly. The VAT code, depending on how you set up your, you know, your VAT, we have some options here. So we have the standard rate, 0 rated, tax exemption, or not applicable. And then we have to be invoiced on. So this is the date that the invoice will be invoiced on for the period too. So this would normally be, so for example, say they was moving in on Friday, then this will automatically add the date in for where the period is to for it's because it's for a month, and then the expected payment date. And then again, the total is at the end. And then we have this little option at the end as well, if there is a pro rata. And also if there's another charge you wanted to add, then you can literally just by add here and then add your other charge. Okay. So then let's go to the next part. So this is now the move-in transaction. So this is obviously, as you can see here, this is your deposit. So this would be what is shown when you go to your statements as what the deposit is. And then if there's any other reoccurring charges, so let's say management fee or lettings commission charge, then you can literally just add this by going to add reoccurring charge, go to the drop down menu, pick the relevant charge that you want, add the description, so it will be management fee, and then the fee type. We have a fixed amount, we have based on rent received and based on rent charged, and then we have the rent amount, and then not the rent amount, the amount. So let's just make sure we put that in. So let's say it's £200, and this is on a monthly frequency. And then the VAT, once again, just depending on how you do your VAT, and then to be invoiced on for the period, once again, and then this will automatically filter. If this is wrong and it's say you do it for 6 months, then you can just literally go in here and edit accordingly. Once again, we have some automations down here. So this is the next step that we're going to speak about. So this would be the application form for them to fill out. So once this prospective tenancy is created, then this message will go out to the applicant to start filling out so that you can start with their referencing. So what will happen is this link will go to the email that we put in for the applicant, and then they will click on this link and then they will fill in the application form. And then that will be how they fill out the application form. So if we go to add tenancy, that has now been all created for us. So once this loads, we'll be able to see the tenancy that we have created. Okay, so here is the details of the tenancy that we've created. Okay, and we have a few options on the left-hand side that we can kind of go into to make changes or to add information or just to get an overview of what's going on. Okay, so if you want to edit the tenancy, you can literally just by going to edit tenancy and filling in the relevant details that you need to edit. We also have some other options here as well. So, you can, if you go to the more on the right hand side in the corner, we have update status, update rent review, register deposit, change tenancy, referencing past, referencing failed, close tenancy, server notice, tenancy mail merge, check keys in and out, print and archive. And then we also, if we go to the tenants section, then we can see all the tenants that are for this particular tenancy. Okay, and as you can see at the top, we have the tag of prospective. Then we can go to the guarantor information. So if you forgot to add that guarantor information, then you can literally, once the tenancy is created, you can go to the guarantor section and just add them this way manually. Then when it comes to, once they've been approved and things like that, then any task that would be created, you can create here just by clicking add task. We've got schedulers. So this would be something to remind you that, you need to do for this particular tenancy. Then we have our statements. So this would be where you would find all your statements for the property owners and the tenants. your reoccurring charges. So this is what we inputted when we was creating. So this is your management fee, which is £200, and then your direct rent charge, which is £900. And then if we go to rent reviews, then you can add your rent reviews in here just by clicking this and then adding any information that you would like to add here. Any certificates that need to be added, you can add in here as well. So this would be your EPCs, your gas safeties, that type of thing, or any certificates relating to the actual tenant. Any notices that need to be added, you can add here as well. Documents as well we can add. So, you know, if you had their passport information and things like that, you literally just go upload a file or upload a document, click into here, and you can go and access the relevant file that you need. And then you have your work orders. So once they've obviously been approved and, you know, they're in the property, then work orders will go through here. This is just the history, the tenancy history of what's going on, basically. The unit utility, so this is for when you are putting in things like Sky, their broadband, things like that. And then once again, we have this little message section, which is basically to post any messages from the tenancy level regarding the tenancy, okay? And once again, you have the filters at the top. So once we've created the prospective tenancy, now we need to go and speak to the applicant to say, you know what, we're happy, we've set up the prospective tenancy. Can you fill out your application form now? Okay. Now, once this has happened, you will get an email through. So let me just see if I can move this so I can show you. So let's see if it's come through. Moment. The tenants. Okay, so now we want them to fill out the application form. So what we'll do is once we have, let me just see why this isn't going through. Let me just make sure the email is correct so that I can get that email sent through. Okay. Oh, one moment. I don't know why this isn't working. Sorry, guys, I'm having a bit of technical difficulties. Please bear with me. Sorry, guys, my application form link isn't working for some reason. But on a normal occasion, it probably would work for yourself. Just bear with me. Apologies. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, this isn't working for me. This is a bit embarrassing. Sorry, guys. I do apologize. This is not good. One moment. Copy. Hmm. Okay, we've got there. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. I will be going through all the questions. I was just having some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is the email that you will get through to your email. Let's see if it works this time. Oh, no, technical difficulty. So I think I've got a bug on my system. But what will happen is you'll get an application form sent through to you. And then what will happen is once the application form is sent out and they filled it out, when they go on to here, one moment, this is bugging. All of these details in these sections will be filled out. I do apologize very sincerely as I am having some technical difficulties in regards to my application form link. I will have to investigate that at a later date. But once they filled it out, all of their information will be on their applicant page. So if we type in their name just here, if we go to applicant, personal information, all of these fields here will be filled out. So it will have their next of kin information, their residential status, address details, employment details. Now we do have an option for a bespoke application form as well. But this is obviously as a charge. But we do have our standard application forms that have this information in that they will be able to fill out. Once we've got past this part, then it will be setting up the referencing for the applicant. So you'll have all of this information on the applicant come through. And then what you will do is you will either use one of our services, which we have advanced tenant referencing or credit check by TransUnion. And now these are the two companies that we use. So advanced referencing basically gives you an overview of the tenant's history, their employment and income verification, at least one landlord reference or a landlord reference, at least 6 years worth of credit history as well, and a right to rent check as well, if they have any visas or things like that. And then we have this option here, which is a bit less of what they will find out. So it will just do a soft check of their credit and their address history as well. Okay, and where you can find this is literally by going to your Arthur store. So if we go to the Arthur store just here. And then if we go to, let's have a look. So screenings, then you can see all of the information regarding each sector of the company that you want to use for your referencing. And then you can, if you go here, you can search the tenancy. So if I do 1 Cromwell. So this lady, Lena T, if you click continue, because I don't have any payment details in, it won't go to the next page. But once you do that, then you'll be able to add in all the details relevant to adding the advanced tenant referencing. And then same for the credit check as well for this one, but the way it's done is a bit different. So you can buy credits and you can do it per credit, and then also the overview of the credit check is here as well. We also have an add-on, should I say, which is the auto top-up setting, which you can kind of add an auto setup. So if we click here, anytime it goes to say 5 credits, so say we do 5 credits, when the auto top-up per month is 10, then it will auto correct and add more credits on for you once it reaches 0. You can also check out your credit history just by going into there, and this will have all of the credit history that you've brought as well. Then once the referencing is done and it's completed and you're happy with everything and they've passed, the next part would be the mail merge document. Now the mail merge document is a feature that we have so that you don't have to manually create your tenancies over and over again and manually put in the details of the tenant or the actual tenancy. So if we go to documents just here and we go to mail merge templates, we can upload a document. So I can just show you an example. So if I download this document, it has to be in Word as well for your mail merges. So say this is your AST, for example. Normally you would have to go in and fill in the property owner's details, the tenant's details, the rent amount, the rent frequency. But what we've done is we've created this handy tool so that you can put in these variables. So each time you want to create a tenancy, all you have to do is mail merge the document, and then it will pull the information onto the system for you, onto the document for you. And it has to be, once again, a mail merge Word document. To create these, we have articles and YouTube videos on the Arthur platform as well, but you can literally just go to mail merge and then view variables. And then here you can see all of the variables that we have. So if we type in tenants, for example, you can add this little variable here and it will add each of the variables for the tenant. Then say we want a property address, then if you click here, you press copy, add it in the relevant section on the document, and then you'll be able to it will be able to pull that information for you. We also have another feature, which is custom fields. Now, custom fields are things that, if we don't have a variable for it listed within one of these, then you can create your own. And then once you mail merge the document, once you've clicked confirm, there will be a section where it populates like different like a different field of the customization that you've put in, and then you can just input it yourself. So that's quite a handy tool as well. So for this tenant, we're going to create the mail merge, so you can kind of see what it looks like, and then hopefully try and get this on digital sign so that we can so I can show you what it's actually like. So let's go back to our tenancy. So if we go to tenancy and we go to our tenant and we click on the more drop down menu just here, then if we click add mail merge, then we can put the document name. So let's say 2024 AST contract. Then the document type would be contract. And then here is where you would pick your mail merge document. So if we click here, we can click mail merge document, and then you can add any description of the file that you may need. And then you click continue. Now, once we've hit here, this is where you can choose who you want to share with. So, you know, I would normally pick the property owners, the tenants, and those are the two that I would normally click or choose, but you can kind of differentiate who you want to share with, or you don't have to share with anyone, because if you use create digital signature, then it will share with them anyway. So this is just sending out the document that we've created, not the actual digital signature yet. So you can't download and save. As you can see, these ones are blocked because it will automatically do that anyways once you click this. But if you just wanted to have this document for just to save it, for example, and you didn't actually want to digital signature it right at this moment in time, you can literally just click that button, click that tick off, and then click download and save, or convert document to PDF, for example. But for this example, we're going to create the digital signature and we're going to create the document. Okay, now once we've reached this part, you will see that it's basically populated the relevant information that we needed. Okay, so it's got the owner's details here. It's got the tenant, which is Lena T. It's got the property address, which is 1 Cromwell House, SW115HW. It's got the length of the contract. It's got from when, and then of course your normal contract details at the top. Now, this is a great tool because, like I said, it does do the heavy work for you without having to go back and input all the information. Then we have this option here, which is how you want it to be signed. Okay, so you can individually send it to each person for them to sign independently. But a lot of our clients do use this one, so that it means it goes in order. So if you want the tenants to sign it, and then you want the owner to sign it, and then you want to sign it, or if you want to sign it, then the tenant and then the owner, it just depends on how you want to set it up. But this would be the best option because you can do it in order of who of when you want the person to sign. So in this example, all you have to do is click just here and then add the signature. But we do have some other options as well, which is date, text box, and checkbox. So, you know, if you wanted them to write something, you can put text box and put it for the landlord. So let's say the property owner, we want the property owner to fill this out. So the property owner will fill in this one. And then the property owner, we want them to fill out the date. So this would be a date, and we will add that. And then for the tenant, we will just click here. Then we will add the tenant, and then we will add signature. And then we'll do the same. So date, Felina T, add. Okay. But this one, I'm just going to change this to a signature so you can see. Okay, so we've got the signature for the landlord. We've got the signature, oh, for the wrong person. This would be a signature for the property owner. So we've got the signature for the property owner, the date for the property owner, we've got the tenant signature and the tenant's date. So when it comes to signing, these are the sections that they will be signing and dating. Once we've done that, you can click save. And then this is where the option of where you will pick the order, okay? So you can do it however you like. You can mix it around. If you have multiple tenants, then you might want to put the main tenant and then the following tenants after. It just depends on how you want it to be signed. Then if we click next, then this is showing you the attached document. So this is the mail merge document. This is the AST that will be going out, okay? And if you wanted to add any other files, then all you need to do is literally, I'll show you just now. What you would do is you would go to your files, drag this into your mail merge, and it will just add just like that. For this attached documents, as you can see, there is a little prompt just here. It can only be a docx, an XLSX, and a PDF, okay? It can't be a Word document or a PowerPoint or anything like that. So once we've got our two documents, so this would be your EPCs, how to rent guide, your gas safety, your ICR, that type of thing. This would be in a PDF document, and this is what you would attach to your contract. So once that's done, then you can literally just click add. Make sure both of them are ticked. So let's, oh, no, I think I did that one. And then, yeah, so this is where you will include what you want them to do at this point. So please sign here, or for example, congratulations. Please sign here. Okay. And then this is what they will see once they get the email. So let's click next. So this is just showing you basically what's being sent out, the credits, of how much you're using, of how much credits you have, and then this is how much you'll be using. So in total, you'll be using 1. If you have multiple applicants in this section, it will just send in 1 credit, so you won't be using a lot of credits if there's multiple people in there. It's per digital signature that is sent out that is charged for one credit. So then we could click confirm and send. So once that's all sent, then we can click out of here. And now that what will happen is you should, let's see if it comes through. A moment. Let's have a look. Let's go to documents, digital signature. And let's have, if you go to documents and then digital signature, you can see where it's been sent to. So the first person would be to this email. And then once that's been signed by this person, then it will be sent to this person. And then once that's all signed, then that's, and you know, you're happy with everything, you've got everything signed, everybody's got their documents that they need, then it's literally going back to the tenancy that you created. And then it's going to update the status. And then once you've updated the status, you will go to approved. And then once you've approved them, then you have these little automations here. So this will change the unit status to let, so that they know that there's a property let now. This property is let. And then you can invite the tenants as well. So this is for things such as the occupant app, which is quite a handy tool. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but it's quite a handy tool, so they can raise work order or tasks for you to create work orders, and communication levels are better via the app but of course you can do it by email and text message and things like that. But if you do want to invite them to the app, then you click this little field here. If not, then you just leave it blank. So even though the start date and the end date of the tenancy are these dates, their move-in date and their actual move-out date might be completely different. So this is where you can kind of differentiate the two and input that information of when they're actually moving in and when they're moving out. And then once that's all done, you can update the status. And then now they are an approved tenant and they can now get ready to move in. So that's basically the onboarding side of the tenancy journey. I do apologize for my mishaps. I don't know why my application form is not working conveniently today. But I will go to the questions to have a look now, just to get some of your questions. Can we add fields to the standard application form? Yes, you can add fields to that standard application form. It just depends on how you want to do it. So if you wanted to take things out, or if you wanted to if you wanted a bespoke one specifically, then that would be chargeable. But the standard one, we can take things out, but we wouldn't be able to add anything. Hello. Hi, I have to jump off now. I'll be getting a copy of the recording presentation. Okay, no worries. Sorry about that. What I created trigger, which point, which tab, automation page, which trigger. Okay, so in regards to the automation for the application, this is where you do it. So you go to your automations just here. And then once you go to your automations, you'll go to tenancies. And then once you go here, then you will go to set as prospective tenancy. And then you will have the automation just here and you can edit accordingly to what you would want in there. And this trigger will come when when you start to make your prospective tenant. This is when the application form can be sent out. Thank you. I missed the R in Arthur. Thank you. We are supposed to house an organization and rent the split in files of anything like council charge for events. I only know the functionality side, and so I can't give you an answer on that, but I can definitely get back to you in regards to that, because I think the financial team would be the best person to answer about the supported housing organization. Your link is included. It should be HTTPs. Oh, I see. You missed the R. If certificates are at the unit level, why would you need to put them at the tenancy level? You cannot put a multi-relationship to a certificate if you can do documents, for example. So you can put them at any level, really. You can put them at the tenancy level, or you can put them at the unit level. I would prefer to say to put it at the unit level, but you can put them at the tenancy level if it's specific for that tenant. Can you add a test tenancy with 3 tenants if possible? Yep, I can. I'll show you that shortly. Which option comes up when clicking submit offer? So when clicking submit offer on the viewing page. Let me quickly just show you that. So if you wanted to add, let's go to the property unit. Let's just see. You would literally just go into tenancies, going into the tenancy, and then add in another existing person. So this would be this person and this person, for example. Add selected. And now you have 3 tenants in there. If they are a new person, then you can literally do the same thing by just adding the person here, and then adding the relevant information. And if she didn't, a tenancy subtype. Why would this be beneficial to add this? It's beneficial to add a tenancy subtype just simply because when you are filtering or doing reports, it's easier for you to kind of differentiate the tenancy subtypes that you have regarding which tenant or which property. Could you have a copy of the session? Yes, a copy will be sent to you. We'll be get instructions of all of this. Instructions of, well, I can't. All right, I will get back to you. Send privately. Let me just stop the recording quickly. Sorry. We create applicants when organizing a viewing. However, when the applicant wants to book a room, creates a new applicant and she adds a document at the end, the two applicants with the same names. How to avoid this? This is normally because of when you add an email in, this is very important to make sure that, you are only referencing to one tenant. So for example, I'll show you now. Let me just share my screen. Duplication of applicants only happen when you have added them via a portal or if they've applied via the website and then you go in and then you add them again. So what I would do is you have two web pages. I'll show you now. Let me just share my screen to the relevant page. So if you look here, you have two web scenarios of the links that you'll use. So this one is when you've inputted their name and email into Arthur. And then this link here is where you would send if they are a complete new person. So normally when you send them this link, it will duplicate them. So if they fill out the application form and you send them this link, then it won't sync with the account that you have put on there already because they're filling out through this link. But if you use the My Applicant link, then they will have to enter their email, get a reference code, and then it will continue from the applicant's process from that point. I think, let's have a look. Is there any actual impact of setting TE reference date, move-in date, or it's just for reference for the start? So the start date and the end date is what we need, but the move-in date and the move-out date is up to you if you want to put that in. It's just to be more specific in regards to when they're moving in and out. Can we add our own tenant information and document forms? Yes, of course, you can add these documents. You can literally just go by adding the document onto the actual, onto the tenant. So if we go back to, one moment, if we go back to here, and we go to the tenants part, and we type in Lena. You can add them in here, or you can add them actually on the tenancy. So if we go here, and if we go to here, then you can add that document here in regards to the housing benefit forms. If you do referencing via events and not through our whole, will you send a reference on your advanced event portal? Yes, it will go to your portal. That's correct. On a separate point, how would you go about adding check-in and check-out inventories? We have some articles on the Arthur page, but you do need to be on the enterprise package for that to check in and out keys. We wouldn't be able to check in and out inventories, no. Adding and recording going to be available later. Yes, the recording will be available later. So we have to go, any information will be great. Okay, how do you know, arrive late, a few minutes in the webinar. Set up an account for advanced referencing. For advanced referencing, all you have to do is go to your Arthur store and you can sign up via that way. How do I delete an incorrect tenancy I added? To delete an incorrect tenancy, you can archive it. So if you go to tenancies just here, and then if you go to the drop down menu, you can archive the tenancy just by doing that. We can't actually delete them off the system, just in case you need that information for future reference. Can I ask, why does Arthur allow two tenancies to be current at the same time? This is because, say you have a tenancy that started in May, for example, and then you had another tenant that joined that their tenancy started in July. Because they're two different tenancy start dates, it's better to kind of keep that separate so that you can kind of, because if you put them on the same tenancy, then the dates will be different. But you don't, of course, if they both start at the same time, then you can definitely put them on the same tenancy if that works for you. What is the difference between a person and applicant document and contact wise? Between person and the applicant, I don't quite understand this question. I have to get back to you in regards to that. Hi, sorry, I've been asked and I've missed it. Tenancy setup. When rent review due? Notification coming up? If so, how? This would be done by automation. So as I showed you before, you would have to go into automations, just here. And then I think it is financials, maybe. Oh no, rent reviews, there it is. And then if you go in to the action, you can add today, or you can customize and add a rent review for your specific time frame. But if it's during the setup stage, I don't understand the bottom question either. When you go to the applicants tab, the documents will be attached to the person and or the applicant differently depending on where and how you add them. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Any other questions? I do apologize once again for the glitch in Arthur today with the application form. It definitely threw off our session, but I hope everything was explained correctly. We do have a live chat as well if you need assistance with anything. We also have articles on the Arthur website. So I can just show you what I mean. So we have knowledge-based questions. So if you go to Arthur, we have this knowledge-based section that you can basically search what you are, if you need any assistance with. And also we have this YouTube as well, that kind of give you an overview of everything as well. So if we go here, this is basically the overview of the Arthur online, and it takes you step by step for each scenario that you may have issues with. Yes, so tenancies can only be archived. They can't be completely deleted off the system, but for it being archived, you won't be charged or anything like that for it. It's just archived, so it's out of the way, keeps everything tidy. But if you ever needed information from that tenancy or that unit or that property, then you can always go back for it in your archives. I have two tenancy, one starts on this and one starts on that. Okay, yeah. So this is why you would have two tenancies at the same time, because you have one that starts on this day and you have the second one that starts on this one. So they will be two different tenancy start date and end dates. That's why you'd have two active tenancies. Can you show us a multiple document PDF and Word at the same time, even if the documents don't require the same number of people to sign? For example, I need to get a tenant to sign For your query, definitely go in the live chat because they will be able to help you and assist you with that in more depth. But yeah, definitely jump in the live chat and we can definitely help you with that. Offer allows both to be current. Yes, that's correct. You can have two current tenancies. You could have three current tenancies, four current tenancies. Arthur doesn't stop you from having many tenancies active at the same time. But what we would suggest is obviously if they are for the same date, then try and put them on the same tenancy as it just makes your life a little bit easier. But what if I input it wrong? How can you remove it prior to the tenancy starting? You can just edit the tenancy. You don't need to remove it completely. Like I said, you can go into a tenancy and change the applicant, you can change the date, you can change the rent amount, the reoccurring charges. So you can literally just do that by going to tenancy, going into the tenancy, editing the tenancy via this way, or we have this more advanced option, which is change tenancy. Let me just move this out of the way for you. And then change tenancy details, continue. And then it will take you back to this page where you can fill out the tenancy again, and then literally just save it. I believe the session should only be allowed one current tenant. If the property was sold, it will be all archived as well. Yeah, if the property sold, you can archive the whole property. But if you ever wanted to get it back again, then you're able to do that by going into your archives and retrieving that property again. Or say you need to do some reports or things like that, and you needed to gather information regarding that property, even though it's sold, then like I said, you can definitely archive and then unarchive that. I believe the system should only allow to be one current tenant. Well, I do understand that. But at the same time, like I said, if you have two different start dates, having one current tenancy doesn't really work. So that's why we are allowed to kind of have multiple current tenants. A joint tenancy ended by one tenant moving out and needs to be a different by moving in. This be a renewed TE. I mean, yes, in that example, I would suggest, because the dates are different once again, I would then create a new tenancy for that particular person, or adding them onto the new one, but just making a note that when they moved in. But you wouldn't need to renew the tenancy, no, because it's not renewing it, it's just adding or removing a tenant that was in there before. Okay, so I'm gonna start to wrap this up now, guys. So yeah, there will be a survey at the end. I do understand there was some confusion, no, not confusion, complications with the application form, which kind of threw this off a little bit. So you couldn't see exactly what I was kind of explaining. So I do apologize for that, and I hope that I can rectify this for the next one. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the webinar. And if you have any questions or stuck with anything, please do go into the live chat and we will definitely be able to help you or assist you, whether it's financials or functionality. And I hope everybody has a great day. And yeah, I mean, if there's any questions or anything other than the ones that have been said, then you can just pop us an email and we'll be happy to help. Right. Hope everybody has a good day, and we'll speak to everybody soon, I guess. Have a lovely day, everyone.